Welcome back to the Everything Goes Podcast with your host, TAK. A weekly podcast with the latest sports news, the hottest of the hot takes, and the best predictions you can get. Now, Chris, Ace, take it away.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Everything Goes Podcast with TAK, episode 205. It's been a little bit, but we're back. NFL. We are on a high on the NFL right now because the NFL draft just happened. 775,000 people attended in Detroit. Even Eminem loved it. Loved every single minute of it. It was probably, I think, the only draft that I watched almost all of the rounds because I was so intrigued with so many different people that were getting drafted. Did the Vikings and the Saints draft their future QBs? I don't know. We'll discuss that. We'll dive into that. Did the Cowboys fill their needs? And is Trey Lance about to be traded because they don't want to pick up that $22 million option? We'll talk about that. We'll discuss the QB rankings going into the 2024 season, what QBs that got drafted are going to be in the best situation surrounding them. And we'll also talk about a little bit of the NBA playoffs. But I am happy to be here on this Thursday evening. Tomorrow's Friday already. Before you know, it'll be Monday. And then we'll just keep going on and on and on.
It's just a rotating door just keeps coming.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Dallas. Should we talk about Dallas's woes first since Dallas walked in, Chris?
Look at that little puppy back there.
What do you mean Dallas's woes? I think Dallas had one of the best drafts ever.
Wow. Where?
Why? Everyone's saying, we should have
like
drafted a running back. We should have drafted a running back. Why? Why should we draft a running back when we have 4 on the team already? There are no names that haven't had a chance to make themselves a name. Why would we go out and pay somebody a ridiculous amount of money to put ourselves back in more cap hell?
Well, I think about
it
like this, right? Zeke is a great addition, good veteran come back. He'll probably be like your second down back or something. I think about it like this, though, like when you play Madden and you draft young talent, you have this once in a while you'll draft a gem that has a hidden talent star, which is he's a future starter, he's a day one starter. Would you say that any of the young running backs you have on your roster now that you would be like, they could be a day one starter one day?
Malik Davis. I think he can be definitely a starter. I know Deuce Vaughn, we drafted last year. We never gave him an opportunity. We have a lot of fresh people on our team that haven't had the chance to run it yet, that we could get them out there and running the ball.
But do you feel confident in that? Like, do you feel confident like the school they went to and what they played and how they played?
It doesn't matter about all that. The thing is
I'm just asking questions.
No matter who you draft, it could all turn out to be a bust. You're taking a chance on every single one. Even the number one pick in the draft, Caleb Williams, you don't know what he's going to be until he gets behind those pads.
Hey, how about them Bears, though? Those Bears look like they had a pretty good draft.
But I'm just saying, Dallas filled up all the holes they needed to. They got 3 offensive linemen. They got fat boys on the defensive side of the ball. We have Zimmer there now who likes fat boys. We got a new linebacker. We got a receiver. We got 13 undrafted free agents we picked up. Minnesota picked up the most. I think they picked up 17. So I think
we had 0 draft picks.
Until we put the pads on and go to camp, nobody knows what they have.
Absolutely. That was one thing that did shock me, though, is that there were a lot of teams that had a lot of undrafted signings. The Saints were one of them. You just said it, Dallas and the Vikings are one of them. There was a lot of teams. Hey, but this has been like I don't know what it's been. I don't know what it's been, but this offseason, this year, like I have been fingers deep. That sounds really weird, actually. I'm going to reverse myself here. Fingers deep.
Couldn't say the other word.
I've been so deep into like every step of like what's going on this off season. I watched almost all the rounds. It's been so fun this off season. And there's still free agents out there like OBJ. There's still free agents out there like Tyler Boyd's visiting teams. You have that safety Simmons. Like there's still a lot that needs to happen.
But this is where your smart GMs are playing smartly. You don't go out there in the first wave of free agents and overpay for people. You sit back, you do your draft, you wait and see what you have. People are going to get cut. You have plenty of opportunity to build your team. And Dallas isn't in the best cap space right now.
That's what I was going to ask. Where do they turn next? Because I almost think you go in with the team that you got right now.
The problem is...
Let me add on to that. So like going into this year, you just had your draft. Number one, do you feel good? Do you feel good about your team? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you have checked off the needs in this draft? And then to add on to that, kind of what Ace was asking, where do you go in free agency now?
Well, I think you have to wait. You have to wait and see what happens first, because you have three players you have to get re-signed. We're wasting time on CeeDee Lamb. That's just getting more and more expensive as we sit back, because now the top receivers are getting paid. We have Micah Parsons, who they're going to give him that 5th-year option. And then we have to figure out what we're doing with Dak. Dak's contract can clear a lot of cap space to let us go out and pick up more people. We picked up Zeke because we're paying him $6 million from his previous contract anyway. So it was smart to bring him back. You're going to utilize him because you're paying him. You have to wait and see. You have to wait and see how the rookies work out in mini camps, how OTAs go. Some of these guys like OBJ and them, you won't see them sign until like maybe end of July, August.
I would take a veteran OBJ on the Saints with the young receivers they already have. Come in, don't play every single snap. Come in, play the slot mate. Like just do a little. Don't get hurt. I don't need you to be that star. I want you to come in and be that star for minimum plays.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen. It almost at this point becoming Adam Thielen.
Yeah, just a guy a big name that still has a lot of talent, but I don't need you to be the number one guy. I want you to score and produce and get first downs, but I don't need you to be the star. You know what I mean?
I think the number one, the Cowboys won't win the East because the same team hasn't repeated in like 27 years. So we know that's a shoo-in. I think Washington definitely got better. The Commanders, I don't know. Because they have no quarterback idea what they're doing right now. The Eagles are always a threat. The Eagles have one of the best. The Eagles have one of the best GMs in football. I mean, he's smart. We'll see what happens.
And I think they already had maybe a couple guys in mind, knowing that Kelsey would retire inevitably or eventually at the center position that they can play. So them and the Cowboys, you got to think, plus maybe Washington will contend. The Giants, who knows about them? I like talking about the division too, because I think it's between those teams for sure.
A couple of podcasts ago, we talked about like, all right, this is what our team needs to fix going into the offseason, going into the draft. Is there a spot? What is the spot for Dallas that you would say that's still a spot we need to fix?
I still think the defensive tackle spot is where we need to address that. The previous regime, Quinn loves the small, skinny guys that can run around with speed. Mozzie Smith, I think they got to put weight back on him. I think we drafted him in the first round last year. You can't say he's a bust. He was in a system where he didn't play much, and they made him lose 60 pounds. So we got to fatten him up again. And I think linebacker, I mean, we had Overshown who got hurt last year. He's coming back from an ACL tear or whatever he had. And we'll see.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
But I am glad I did put my GM hat on a couple podcasts ago and say I hope Dallas trades back in the draft to pick up more picks, and we did that.
What's your views here on Trey Lance? You want to keep Trey Lance, maybe renegotiate a new contract to keep him in? They're saying if he doesn't beat Cooper Rush out this coming camp, that there could be immediate trade.
I think the thing is you have to do with Trey Lance is you have to get him to sign a smaller deal. Well, we haven't for this year yet. You got to try to renegotiate with him sometime during the season and figure out what you're doing with Dak. Is Dak the quarterback of the future for the Cowboys? If not, you got to let him go. The problem about it, if you let Dak walk after next year, you're paying him $59 million this year and $46 million not to play next year. So that's huge. That's a lot of money.
Well,
so
do you want Trey Lance, right? Like, would you rather have Trey Lance as a backup or Cooper Rush? I think if you trade Trey Lance away, you're indicating that, all right, we're going to keep Dak around for another 5 years.
The problem is the ball's in Trey Lance's hands now. He has to do out this season, and he's a free agent. He's the first-round pick. I don't think anyone at a first-round pick is going to come in here and say, yeah, I'll take the backup role for $5-6 million a year. I think he's going to do like that. I think he's going to try to see what's out there first.
But I think if I'm Lance, especially after this draft where 6 quarterbacks went in the top 10, I think I'm staying in Dallas because if Dak goes 1 and out again, who's to say they don't get rid of Dak?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I mean, is Jerry Jones telling him and his agent, look, we're going to ride this out with Dak for this year, and then it's going to be wide open? Because Dak, the ball's in Dak's court. He can't be franchise tagged, and they can't trade him. He has a no-trade clause.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right.
Dak to Tennessee would be a good move.
He's got to perform. He isn't back to Tennessee. Oh. I like that. I was going to say Trey Lance has a chance to prove himself, but it's like,
I think this is important camp for Trey Lance.
And you know what's crazy? Yeah. I think Trey Lance is like 24 years old.
Oh, no, I think he's younger than that.
Yeah. He's younger
than Penix. Yeah, they're close to Penix, I think.
He's 24 because they were like, it's crazy to think that Penix is 24 and Trey Lance is 24, has been in the league for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Dude, you're right about the Cowboys. Ever since I can remember, the linebacking core they're good, but maybe injuries, whatever the case.
Yeah.
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee, LVE, Leighton Vander Esch.
Sean Lee played.
Yeah,
White
Leighton
boys.
Vander Esch is another one.
Shout out.
But you got to remember those were all first round picks too.
I think this
is the
is
thing
trade.
about this. You never know. You can get some no name off the street and he comes in and shines. And I mean, look at Brock Purdy, perfect example.
Yeah,
he's a stud now.
I think Trey Lance's first preseason with you guys, I believe. All right.
No, last year was.
Did he
came in,
play
he came
Trey
in
Lance
late.
or did he come out after?
He came in late.
I think this is an important camp and preseason for Trey Lance to show that he's still that first round draft pick.
They love him. They love him in Dallas. They really do. They talk highly of him.
I would want to keep him though because you see that
play, though.
Yeah, and you see this with teams that don't have, and we were talking before the podcast, like it's good to have a young quarterback that can sit behind a starter that you could be like, all right, if Dak does walk, we can transition and continue going. It's not going to be we're going to take 10 steps back. We might take 2, but he's been sitting the bench and he's got a lot of talent and he knows the system. Yeah. I'd keep him. I'd keep him over Cooper Rush.
The problem with football is, and we talked about this before we came on, we need the quarterback market to go down. This is killing football. It's killing your organizations. It's killing your teams. Now you see people like Micah Parsons is going to get like $35 million a year. They're saying JJ for you guys might get anywhere from 34 to 35 a year as a receiver. So then when you start paying the receivers that kind of money, guess what? Now the cornerbacks are going to say, hey, I'm only getting $8 million a year and I'm covering a guy who's getting $35 million and I can shut him down. It's out of control. And I don't know how you fix it.
Let's see
maybe
how
no salary cap. I don't know.
Let's see what happens with Jared Goff. Let's see how that contract looks. I don't think that the QB market's going to skyrocket anymore. I think, like you said the other day, I think a lot of the young guys got their big contracts. I think you got some veterans that are looking for re-contracts that won't get as much of that, and hopefully we'll bring it down.
Because what's crazy? What's crazy?
CD and JJ they're competing to see who signs first.
Yeah,
in terms of dollar amount.
What's messed up? You're seeing quarterbacks like Tannehill who can come in and play. Jared Goff, not Goff. Well, Goff can play, but Minshew is another one. He's not making big money. He won a lot of games.
15 mil or something like that.
Darnold's still young, making
Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
You have all these quarterbacks out here that you can bring in, and that can carry you enough to get you to the playoffs. Joe Flacco,
My
thing
Flacco.
is so we got to stop paying. Look, I want all of them to get their money, but we got to stop paying people off of their name. And I'm the next man up for the quarterback contract. Start paying them for their accolades are.
Like JJ deserves it. JJ deserves. I don't know. I wouldn't say like the market should be that high, but JJ deserves to be paid. Obviously, if we're gonna go based off stat wise, and I think him getting signed first would help Dallas because I don't think you could go up to CD and be like, he's obviously better than you. Like it's close. It's close. Like I'm not saying like, oh, CD sucks. Like CD's an amazing receiver.
He sucked in the playoffs.
If this wasn't public, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. It's funny but whatever. They have a salary cap too. It's frustrating.
Now, Vikings are on the clock here at 10 because they trade up with the Jets, I believe it was. And
that was horrible.
We talked before, a couple podcasts ago. Who do you want? There's JJ. There's Bo Nix. There's Penix Jr. You take JJ. You take JJ McCarthy. A lot of people hate it. My dad, one of them. What is your thought as a Vikings fan? Because I know Rudy didn't necessarily love it too. And I've seen a lot of Instagram videos of people that didn't love it because the system he was in, he didn't have to throw a lot. But when he did throw, he was on the money. His accuracy was good. He was able to. Yes, he was. He was able to win. Not. And that's the only stat that matters is he was able to win with the team around him.
He won because they had the best defense in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't know who the most accurate quarterback is. Honestly, I think I even said I like Bo Nix or JJ. I'll be honest. I think next was JJ, maybe even Michael
How do you feel? Do you like it or do you not like it?
I like it because I thought of all the quarterbacks drafted in the first round and all the quarterbacks in general, especially of late, he's coming into one of the best offensives and probably one of the better teams than those other guys. Like outside of CJ Stroud, I was thinking outside of CJ Stroud, what other young quarterback the last couple of years really has
a good system, good receiver?
Yes.
Best receiver in the league.
And it's new too. Yes. Aaron Jones, they signed.
He's going into a good system, good receivers, good tight end.
Tackle. Yep. So we basically swapped with DNs with Houston. Texans got Hunter. We got Grenard. who's a stud, a little bit younger, but we signed him to a long-term deal.
Yeah.
And then we got a D tackle. So we're defensively, I like Brian Flores' like scheme. We knew there had to be a quarterback. And I think they knew that all three were going to take quarterbacks, the top three. So regardless how you thought, they probably thought, okay, if we like one of these guys later enough, we got to get him at 10 or we got to get him at our pick. And then they ended up, Jets wanted to trade. So I think we didn't have a lot of draft picks. We ended up having 7 total in this pick. I think we started with 5 or 6, but with that trade, and then we had another one to trade up, which I think we actually lost some picks, but overall we ended up with 7 picks.
I just don't think you trade up for JJ McCarthy, and I'm not bashing JJ. He was unfortunately in a setup at Michigan where they wanted to run and pound the ball. I think you guys could have sat there, maybe even traded back and got Bo Nix or got Spencer Rattler in the later rounds or got the kid Milton, whatever his name is, from Tennessee and the kid from Florida State. I just think I'm not a big fan of trading up in any draft unless you're
They only trade up one spot.
I know you trade up one spot, but why?
Two, because they got it. Didn't they get in front of?
No, you traded up one.
Broncos?
You went from 11 to 10 or something like that.
Hey, listen, JJ stats last year. Nearly threw for 3,000 yards, 2,991, 22 touchdowns. That is not a bad stat line.
You know what kind of scheme he's good in? He's good in a scheme with 2 tight end sets. He's good. He'd be good in a Buffalo set. He loves throwing to tight ends. He's not accurate on the long balls. He was early in the season, but in the big games against Ohio State, he didn't shine.
Yeah,
against Penn State, he didn't shine.
Yo, are you Ohio State? He was threading the needle.
In the championship game, he didn't shine. No.
You don't remember that pass at Ohio State where
one pass, but I mean, look at his stats all together. He's not.
I like it. I
honestly think
pull up
the Denver Broncos got to steal a Bo Nix.
Yes, and
he reminds me of Drew Brees.
Oh,
he's going to be a great pocket quarterback.
Here's my thing I'll say about JJ. I'll say this about JJ, right? I think JJ's got a good head and shoulders, and I think that he could prove the haters wrong. I think that there's not a whole lot of pressure on him because it wasn't like he was the first pick overall, right? He was like, what, the 5th, 6th quarterback taken? He's probably going to sit behind Sam Darnold for a game or two until Sam Darnold struggles.
He's got to sit. Yes.
He's got the best receiver in the league. He's got a good running back behind him. He's got a tight end. He's got weapons there, and he's got a great coach, great offensive-minded coach where he could thrive in that system. He really could. You think about when Zach Wilson was drafted.
He's going to be another Zach Wilson.
No, because here's the difference between Zach Wilson, though. Zach Wilson was drafted where they didn't have the solid head coach yet. They didn't have a good offensive coach. They didn't have a lot of weapons like they do now.
And if JJ walks, guess what? He has nothing there.
Listen, man.
Oh God, yeah. Could you imagine that? They're rumors are they're getting a contract done with him or they're talking, but I mean, until something's signed, you never know.
I think there's something there for JJ. I do. Bo Nix, I don't know how I feel about Bo Nix. I think that what I think is absolutely insane is the fact that Sean Payton said they gave him the playbook and it was, what was it, the next day, the next morning, 12 hours later, 8 hours later, whatever they said, he knew the whole playbook and was able to read it to them.
Bo Nix had almost 3,000 yards more passing than freaking JJ did in school.
What, in total?
How many years?
Yeah, but how many years was he a starter?
3 years.
Because JJ wasn't a starter for 3 years.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't.
He had over 6,000 yards passing. I just looked at his stats.
Wasn't it just 2 years ago where him and what's his face? They had to split the first 3 games to see who the starter was even going to be.
That was 3 years ago, and JJ took over.
So you could say 2 1/4, 2 3/4.
Okay, 3 years.
We're talking.
Doesn't matter. His only loss came in the college playoffs. That's it. But you know what? The defense carried all those teams. I'm sorry. The defense in the run game.
Listen, we say it all the time. We'll see what happens in the NFL because obviously you don't got the best of the best.
Yes. We're going to need the run game to come around too this time around. Aaron Jones still has a couple years left anyways.
He does. So, how do you feel, Ace? You feel like you checked off some boxes or you feel good? You know, what are you giving as a grade? You giving an A? Almost every team got an A. All 31 out of 32 teams besides the Falcons, you know?
I'm kind of like Chris. It seems like I like that we potentially got arguably the best defensive line player in the draft. And he's not going to start the quarterback, but potentially long-term, maybe a guy that works out. I like the defensive guy. Outside of that, I don't know. We had later round picks, so you never know with those guys if they're going to turn out. Um, it, I I'm not gonna. I wouldn't give a grade out. I have no idea. I mean, shit, it's not going to be a good grade because you have no idea what these guys are going to do. So, I I think training camp OTAs, like Chris said with the Cowboys, all of this is going to be enlightening because they need help on the D. They just need bodies really on the D line, linebackers also. Um, and then I think our offense, honestly, that's why I in my opinion, I didn't really care what quarterback came here because I like the offense as a whole. So it's like if he can gel with the offense, if he's a good enough quarterback, and here's the thing, I don't know. O'Connell, they always talk about liking the most accurate dude. I don't know how accurate JJ is. Like, you don't know how accurate some of these guys are if you're watching them at a pro day. How much film are they actually watching, too? So,
JJ McCarthy played 3 seasons. He played 11 games in his first season. Ty. That's a full season. He had
Compared to
6,226 yards passing total. Bo Nix in 4 seasons had 15,000 yards passing.
He had an extra, what, 2.5 years? Year and a half?
Okay, Ty. He averaged 2,000 passing yards a year. Look, JJ, I have nothing bad against JJ McCarthy. I think I wish him nothing but the best. I just think he was a victim of a scheme that didn't fit his style of play because he was a 5-star recruit in high school.
Listen, I think JJ's arm's there. I think his arm is there. I think if he gets
a very strong arm.
I think if he gets in the right system, and we can't help it that JJ didn't have to throw. He doesn't. We don't call the plays. And when he did throw, I thought it was good. I like that JJ can throw on the run. I like that he was able to work the magic when we needed him to.
Yeah.
Hey, and like JJ says,
the championship.
At the end of the day, all he cares about is winning, and that's what they did.
He's gonna have
one game
time to watch.
They lost one game in the 2-3 years he was a starter.
That is huge. Yeah, it's sure you're gonna have some ups and downs, but still.
Yeah. But I think the thing that sucks is like he averaged like maybe 10 throws a game, not 15 throws at most a game. And that's going to hurt him. He's going to have to definitely sit behind Darnold. And I think Darnold's going to have a great year this year. I really do. I think Darnold's going to be a sleeper in this league. I think he's going to be really, really good this year with the weapons they have there. And I think it's going to be tough for them to say, okay, now it's time for JJ.
Do you remember last thing I'll say about the Vikings. Everyone had kind of expected us to take a step back, just because the year before we won all this miraculous games, like JJ catches the ball over the 3 Bills heads, whatever, we come down, kick a field goal. This is like last year was the comeback. Now this year, or come back down there, this year, I think we'll make the playoffs with Darnold. And it's like, okay, when does JJ play? When do we get to, who knows?
I think Darnold's out by week 4.
I think that's going to be a good. That's horrible. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's going to be a really good division. I think Detroit's obviously gotten a lot better. Green Bay, what they did last year. And I just think it's going to be. I'm telling you, dude,
Bears, watch out for those Bears.
I think 5 games they win.
I think the Bears had the best on paper roster for a quarterback to come into. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift.
Really?
How much do you want to bet Caleb Williams don't sign his contract because he doesn't have an agent? He's representing himself.
I think he will. I think he will.
Huh.
He's representing himself.
Aren't they already slotted? I thought they're already like.
I don't think anyone. I haven't heard anything about anyone signing their deals yet.
Signing bonus. Huh. Interesting.
And that's another interesting fact for you, Ace. What are they going to pay JJ McCarthy? Like if since he was drafted in the top 10, he's going to get big money. Are they going to let him sit at the bench with all that money?
I think he will, and that's why I think Darnold will have a short leash. I think when Darnold goes 1 and 2, they're like, all right, it's time for JJ. Remember when Darnold was on the Panthers his first year and he went 5-0, and I was like, everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the team he needed.
Ace, let me ask you this, because I'm going to tell you something.
So
First of all, we'll get to the Saints. The Saints stole the draft. I was so excited for what the Saints did. But let me ask you this, Ace. Let me ask you this. What if Minnesota goes 1 and 4 and they say, screw it, we're trading JJ away for a bunch of first-round picks?
Wait, JJ as in Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
After giving him a deal?
No, they don't give him a deal yet this year. You don't have a deal yet. I'm saying, what if they decide they're 1 and 4 and they can get 2 first-round picks for him?
I think that'd be smart
and maybe a
because you got
second
a
or
young
two
quarterback.
first and a third.
Same draft. If we can do it in the same draft, screw it. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Especially if you then you roll with JJ. It's like, all right, let's see what we got.
I would do the same thing with Micah Parsons. Trade him away.
Yeah, CD.
Trade him away.
I don't know if CD.
I think I'd rather. I think
CD's our best receiver on the team.
I think I'd keep Micah and trade CD. I think.
Nope, I'd rather go offense. This is an offensive-driven league.
I know.
Well, and that's why it's hard. People are gonna kill me for saying get rid of JJ Jefferson.
Yeah, but Micah's that kind of guy though, where you would see Micah cry for getting traded away from Dallas. Like that's the kind of heart he has for that team.
But he's already said he wants to be the highest paid defensive lineman in football. We can't keep paying the highest paid quarterback, highest paid receiver, and the highest paid defensive lineman. Can't do it.
Not in Jerry world. Not anywhere.
Not in the NFL.
Jerry might be able to do it. Jerry's got all the money in the world.
But, dude, Jerry's an asshole.
Jerry's down there. He's like, all right, we got to pay these guys. Let's just start digging some more holes and get some oil up in here.
Dude, if they were smart, they would have got the CD deal done before everyone else did. And they could have paid him probably $25 to $29 million a year. Now they're going to be well over $32 million a year.
Here's the thing. If they're not hell-bent on signing Jefferson, you don't draft a quarterback, or else you trade that back to get picks anyways.
Yeah, I think they would have rolled with Sam if they weren't so confident. And I think that's why they let Kurt go, because they made it an obligation. Like, all right, we're going to let Kurt walk because we want to keep JJ.
It was them and the Giants that were the most frequent to call up about quarterbacks, or maybe not quarterbacks, but moving up to trade with the Patriots. And I don't know if the Cardinals.
But the drafts are so full of receivers anymore, though. You know what I mean? It's easier to find the receiver than it is a quarterback. But you're seeing it's a year-to-year league. You're seeing big names that are transferring from team to team to team to team to team because, let's face it, it's a business.
Well, you guys shocked that the Giants didn't take a quarterback, or do you think they should give Jones another chance?
I don't know what the Giants are doing. The last report I heard is Daniel Jones was emptying his locker.
Because besides 2 years ago, I mean, it's not like Jones has had amazing seasons.
Look, honestly, I don't care if they don't ever get their shit straight. At least that's 2 wins for us out of the year. We know we have those locked in.
Let's make it this simple. Yes or no? Would you take Daniel Jones on your team?
No.
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 Sorry, there's your answer. There's your answer.
But no, I don't. Not with our current outlook. Wouldn't you rather have Spencer Rattler, a rookie, and
oh god, he's the best quarterback on the Saints?
No. No, man. Derek Carson's a great guy. Man.
Derek Carr's only going over 500 one time in his career.
Going over? That's a lie, man.
Ooh,
no,
that's not a lie.
Last year, right there. That's 2 years, right there.
That's 2 years in his career. He's gone over 500.
Well, I just proved you wrong.
Okay, it doesn't matter. He sucks, and I guarantee you, he'll be gone after this season. Spencer Rattler's going to take you to the playoffs and take you to the promised land.
That'd be pretty nice. They're saying he's
unless they use his little video when he maybe was 17 against them.
They said he's the Walmart version of Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, we'll take it. Walmart has a lot of good deals.
All right, we'll do it. Let's talk about the Saints, man, because this draft for me was hands down from the first round to the 7th round. I think the Saints got studs all the way around. I think they got guys that could start right away. I mean, they drafted a linebacker in the late round that they're praising high over, that he could be an immediate impact. First pick overall, obviously, I had to explain to my wife. I said, listen, you're seeing all these people react to wide receivers and QBs. That's not going to be the case here. They're going to take an offense tackle, and it's not going to be that ecstatic. And she's like, why? You're trying to explain it. Because I'm like, listen, it's not exciting now. But then you get into the season, you're like, I'm so thankful I drafted this 6'10", 400-pound lineman to block my quarterback. We take Fuaga. You know what's amazing as I'm following these guys on Twitter, and they're like, oh my gosh, the
best tackle in the draft.
The QB carousel is happening right now, and all these players that we thought would be gone by the time we pick are just falling into our lap. And at first, I was like, we need offensive line help, but we could take any defensive player right now for the choosing. No one has taken a defensive player right now. We take Fuaga out of Oregon State, and it was probably the best pick that we could have picked. I mean, he has over 700 snaps in his college career, 0 sacks. 700 snaps, 0 sacks. Huge guy. Wow. Love it. Love the Hawaiian culture he brings. Fired up to have him. We ended up drafting 2 offensive linemen and signed a lot of them. And then we just signed 2 free agent offensive linemen. So we're building that depth. Derek Carr got hit probably more ever in his career than they did last year. We had a guy retire for the New Orleans Saints. James Hurst retired. So that's another offensive lineman we lost. And our best offensive lineman, Ryan Ramczyk, they don't know if he's going to play or not this year because he's injured. Love the draft. You go into the second round, and they're like, who are the Saints going to take? Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, who everyone, their mom was like, why did he not get drafted in the first round? You have Nick Saban complimenting him, saying that guy is going to be an immediate impact. You have no idea the kind of personality he has. Day one starter. Everyone's like, they're training Marshawn. No, we're just building depth and depth and depth, and we're going to have a nice, solid defense like we always do. Then we get to the 5th round. I'm thinking here, I'm getting ready to go to the pool. I'm like, 4th round is up. Spencer Rattler and Joe Milton are the 2 guys that I want. I'm like, they're going to be gone. Or the Saints need to trade in. Like, I watched every pick thinking the Saints were going to trade if they didn't. We get to the 5th round. The New Orleans Saints are 2 picks away. I'm trying to explain to my wife. I'm like, listen, the Saints have never drafted a QB that I wanted, and I want this guy. We get to the New Orleans Saints pick, and I hear Spencer Rattler. I'm at the pool. I start running laps. I was so fired up.
I said, you got him.
I said, here's the moment, Lakin. I said, I just need to hear the name Spencer.
Yeah.
My one buddy, diehard college fan, is like, why would you want him? I said, bro.
So he's amazing.
I said, sure. Was he not the most electrifying? Sure. Good quarterback, though. He beat 2 years ago. He beat a lot of ranked teams. South Carolina wasn't great, but he beat a lot of ranked teams. When he came into college, he was projected to be the number 1 overall draft pick. Would you rather have that kind of guy behind your quarterback or a no-name that you have no idea what you're going to get from him? Give me someone who's interesting, who's got a good arm, who can be mobile in the pocket if he has to.
Yeah.
You got Clint Kubiak, who's going to call up some amazing plays and probably would love a guy of his caliber. I love it because you need a guy since 2006. If the Saints have drafted a QB, he was never there the second year. That's a crazy stat. A quarterback that they have drafted, not signed, drafted, never made it to the next year. So maybe Spencer Rattler beats out.
He's your starter next year.
Yes.
Get Ross on the podcast. He'll probably tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
I listened to Ross Jackson. He was shocked by the pick. He did not think the Saints were going to be taking a quarterback, even though I did tweet at him and said, I think the Saints are going to be taking a quarterback this year. He likes Spencer Rattler, though. In my opinion, I think if Carr takes you to the playoffs, Carr's there next year on a short window. I think if Carr struggles and does not have a winning record halfway through I'll tell you even this. I'll go even hotter because the New Orleans Saints fans do not love Derek Carr, even though Derek Carr is a great man. He has some big shoes to fill, and the Saints fans are impatient. Haven't been in the playoffs in 3 seasons. I'll tell you this hot take. I will give you this hot take right now. The Saints go 1-2 or 1-3. Those fans are going to be calling for Spencer Rattler. They are going to be calling for Dennis Allen's head and put it on a post and say, you need to get Spencer Rattler, which is sad because I do think Carr has. I don't think Carr is my future quarterback. I think he's a good bridge quarterback, and I will say that. I think he has the tools to go to the playoffs. I don't know if he has the tools to go to the Super Bowl. I just want to see what happens. But I'm telling you,
Carr will be better this year because you have a better offensive
line. We had no offensive line help last year, and I feel bad for him because they started off well, hit some injuries with the O-line.
I just don't think anyone's beating Atlanta in that division.
I don't know. We'll see because Atlanta just didn't really help themselves in the first round there.
Yeah, correct. I kind of agree.
You got a lot of weapons there for Kirk Cousins. More weapons than he had at Minnesota.
Oh, like they always talk about switching out a quarterback if things get tough too.
Yeah, man. Listen, I give the Saints the A. 100%. They checked off boxes that we needed. Offensive line help. You drafted another wide receiver. You didn't even necessarily need one, which is good. You got linebacker help, defensive line help, cornerback that's an instant star on the Saints roster. Who, let's be honest, the past 3-4 years, the Saints defense has been top 5 defense. You can't even argue with that. That's you can look it up. You just added that guy to it.
Stat.
Yeah, it's just like I love it. I love going into this season. I think the Saints could still sign some people. I like an OBJ signing. I like him coming in and helping with these young guys. But the other guy that I'm really high on, they had an undrafted free agent sign out of Colorado State, actually. Tight end, I forget his name. NFL's praising him right now. A lot of hype over this guy, even though we have like 2-3 tight ends. Look at this guy's combine. He forgot that there was going to be a ball thrown to him at the end. Just nonchalant. One hands and runs to the end zone. Love it, every minute of it. I'm excited, guys. Football is right around the corner before you know it. I mean, I know baseball's going on. I know the NHL playoffs are going on with the NBA playoffs. But listen, the NFL is going to be here before you know it. New Orleans Saints will be marching the Super Bowl because I'm feeling pretty confident.
Dude, you know what's crazy about the draft is 23 offensive players were taken in the first round. 14 of the first picks were offensive players. They set a record.
There wasn't a defensive player drafted until the 15th pick.
And you know what's crazy is after that pick, they went on a run of defensive tackles. All the defensive tackles started going off the board. And then it went to cornerbacks. It was a crazy draft.
That makes sense. That's why the Vikings traded up.
Yeah.
That's why the Cowboys traded down, because they had 5 guys that they wanted on their board at their pick, so they traded back.
Yes or no, do you agree with the Michael Penix Jr. pick with the Falcons?
No. Simply because it's going to be another Russell Wilson situation in Colorado if things go bad with the Broncos. You're going to want to get rid of him and then what? Eat that freaking
$100 million
if he's old. I think it was a 4-year deal. That's
I honestly believe that offensively, I don't think the Falcons are going to have any problems at all offensively. I think they're going to have Pitts is going to get back in it. They have a great running back. They have great receivers.
That's going to be a good division.
I think the problem's going to be defensively if they can keep up with other teams. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be your problem there.
Here's what I think. Go ahead, Ace.
Penix is good, but it's like doesn't help you on the defensive end. On the defensive side. He's a luxury item at a place you just spent a luxury amount of money on.
I've heard the argument, and I agree. You want a quarterback that can transition into you when your starting quarterback leaves. But you just signed a quarterback 4 years, $180 million, whatever it is. Why would you put the pressure on him and on your coaches? Because the fans, as soon as Kirk Cousins shows any sign of struggle, they're going to be calling, just like Ace said, they're going to be calling for the backup, which is dumb. I think that the best case scenario would have been the Falcons if they felt like they wanted someone that could transition, bring a backup in just for 1 year and then draft a QB the next year. If you're like, Kurt's not really, we don't know what it's going to be like with Kurt the next 3 years. I don't think you draft a QB. Like if you just bring in like this quarterback that you paid a lot of money for, you have a high first round pick that you might not have in that spot again. I'm going best overall talent to make that team even better.
I just think they could have got a quarterback later in the draft. There's plenty of good quarterbacks.
Yeah, like a 5th round Joe Milton or something, a guy from Tulane.
And if not, then they keep that Ritter guy, keep him for another season. Or
they could have kept him, but they traded him,
Or they pick up a Tannehill as a backup or anything like that. I just think
anything like that.
I don't think you waste your first round pick. I think they should have went defense there.
And now imagine the feedback that Penix gets. People are like, why would they draft you? Like, this is so confusing.
It's weird.
Like it's like Penix is getting the hate now, and Penix is just probably like, I'm just happy to get drafted.
I applaud Kirk Cousins. Like, he was mad about it. His agent was mad about it. But you know what? Kirk Cousins did reach out to Michael Penix, which was awesome on his part.
I'd be frustrated too, man. You're like, listen, I just signed this big contract. I want to go out and ball. Let's pick up like the bet. You could have drafted an LSU wide receiver or something and gone out there and had a stack offense in a shaky division.
Well, how mad would you be though? I mean, you're getting $100 million guaranteed, whether you play or not.
Obviously, but Kurt's
Mr. Guaranteed. I mean, he's Mr. Guaranteed contract. So listen, I don't think he's hurting.
I think everyone says that, right? Like, $100 million. Why would you do that? Sure, you have a lot of money, but also there's that competitive nature inside everybody in the NFL where you're like, that's kind of dumb. Why would we not get better? Why would we not take?
He's guaranteed at least 2 years. He's gonna get $50 million this year, $50 million next year. His guaranteed money will be done. Then Michael Penix will get the thing. If they can't win it in 2 years, well then you got to move on, because what's Kirk going to be? 37?
Well, how about Penix? Yep. Penix 24 and he's a rookie. You're going to make him sit for 4 years and be 28?
No, 2 or 3. Sit for 2 years.
And then start that third.
He definitely sits this year, and then we battle it out in camp next year. And if you got to pay Kirk $50 million to walk, then you pay him to walk.
Listen, the Falcons will look like the smartest team in franchise history if Kirk Cousins gets injured again and Penix goes out there and wins.
Yeah. The problem is like they're
correct. You don't hope injury, but you're right. He's still owed that money. To your point, Chris.
They're saying Chicago Bears are going to the Super Bowl the way they're talking about them. You don't know what this Caleb Williams is going to be like. He has 3 great receivers on that team, but what if he goes
a good running back
and he can't do shit like he did in USC?
Yeah.
What if he goes out there though and the Bears are the best team in the NFC?
I hope not, man. I do not want to see his face anywhere on ESPN or Sports.
I want to see
Sports Illustrated.
I want to see
I have
Jordan Love or Sam Darnold, baby, and then
I
maybe
have,
sprinkle in some.
I have no opinion, man, but like it'd be pretty cool if like the Sucky Bears, all of a sudden one of the best teams in the league. All right, let's.
Sucky Bears messed up. The Sucky Bears should have kept Fields. Did you see Fields? By the way, he's going to be returning punts.
He might.
Kicks.
Yeah, he might.
With the new rules, he might be returning kicks this year.
He's super fast. Why not?
I would have kept Fields. I would have got Marvin Harrison Jr. at the first pick. I would have traded the 8th pick, moved back, picked up another first rounder for next year, and I would have went defense, and that would have been one of the best teams in the NFC. Telling you.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Stack that. Yeah.
Hey, I got QB rankings going into 2024.
Oh yes.
Where's Dak?
Wait, top. What are we doing? We can't.
I have top 5, and then I have where our quarterbacks have fallen. I'll start with this. JJ's in the low tier, obviously, because there's like category names like don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because now you don't know if they're going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If you guys were to give me your top 5 quarterbacks right now from 5 to 1, who would it be?
You going NFC, AFC, or just a combination of both?
Combination of both.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is going to be number 1.
I'll give you that. Patrick Mahomes is 1. But in your own opinion, what's your top 5?
Sway, and then I'm going to say Lamar next.
Lamar at 2 for you?
And then...
Are we talking rushing yards or are we talking receiving or throwing yards? Josh Allen's got to be up there.
Josh Allen.
Dak Prescott, the runner-up MVP's got to be up there. Look, I'm not saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan. Dak's going to ball out this year because he's on a contract year.
I think my top 5, like in no particular order, like I would have Mahomes, I would have Allen, I would have Dak during regular season. I would have Burrow if Burrow's healthy.
Yeah,
and I think I would have to put Lamar in there.
Well, I don't know about Herbert because they got rid of all his weapons.
Herbert was hurt last year.
You know what? The Chargers are going to go back to 1980 Smash Mouth football.
They got a lot of offensive linemen, man, and got some running backs.
What's the order? I feel like we got a few, right?
I think it's going to be Mahomes, Allen,
Brock Purdy. You think they put him up?
Mahomes and Allen is 1 and 2, and they have them as like God mode kind of categories.
Lamar's
got to be there.
Lamar's 3.
Okay.
Who's 4 and 5?
I want to say Dak's 4.
Dak's 7.
Who did this fucking? Is this a New Orleans Saint podcast group here? What is this?
Dude, Carr's 21. It's definitely not. They have him listed as a bridge/mentor quarterback.
Spencer, that's perfect.
Probably Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow.
Burrow's 5. Who's 4? AFC team.
Herbert?
Yep, Herbert.
I don't see that. They got rid of all of his weapons there. Who's he going to throw to?
Yeah.
This will be an interesting year for Herbert, though, to really see what he's got.
Yeah, but it's a rebuild.
Wow. Where did ours go? Like, where's Darnold then? Where is
15th?
Yeah, where's Prescott? Is he in the top 10, I guess?
Prescott is 7.
Purdy's got to be
I
up
agree.
there.
Like, talent-wise, regardless of who's better, I'd rather have the Cowboys offense.
So they have Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in tier 1, gods amongst men. All right. Then you have tier 2, which is elite. You have Lamar Jackson at 3, Herbert at 4, Burrow at 5, and CJ Stroud in 6. You have tier 3, which
Stroud's a good one.
You have dude, Stroud, I think is going to be good.
He can.
I'm with listen to this. Stroud's going to be higher than Lamar.
I think so too. Yeah. I think Stroud's going to be the next great thing in the AFC.
They got the best team in the AFC.
So then you have tier 3, which are your franchise guys, is what they're saying. 7 is Dak, Jalen Hurts at 8. Matthew Stafford at 9, Brock Purdy at 10, Jordan Love at 11.
Wow, they're not giving any love to Jordan Love.
He got 11.
Yeah.
Did you wait all day to say
franchise? He's in the franchise category.
They ain't giving any love to Love. Then you have then you start to get a little lower.
Franchise, that's where you're at.
He's tipping point. Then you get a little lower. Your tier 4 solid starters like Trevor Lawrence, because you don't know what's going to happen with him yet. Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff should be in the franchise.
Why? Who made this? This has to be a hater.
14 is Baker Mayfield. 15 Tua. 16 Kyler Murray.
Ooh, I like Tua being lower. That's
now we drop down to tier 5. This is called Club Achilles, where you have Kirk Cousins at 17 and Aaron Rodgers at 18.
Oh God, Club.
Kyler Murray's gonna go off this year too.
I wonder
man.
if they're just basing this
So is
off
Rodgers.
last year.
Rodgers is going off if he sees this.
Then
Where's
you
Darnold?
then you have tier 6 bridge quarterbacks: Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr.
Sammy Boy didn't even make that. He's a
No,
bridge quarterback.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. You have tier 7. Tier 7, young
Tier
promise.
7, you're not even in the league no more.
Young promise / old panic. Will Levis, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, Bryce Young, Aiden O'Connell. I'll be honest, Sam Darnold's not even on this list.
Oh, okay.
Because
now you have
starter yet.
Now you have tier 8, which is fewer than 8 starts. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Anthony Richardson, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix.
You know what? My thing I'd like to know about Minnesota is what is Darnold's salary? Because if JJ's making more money, he might be your day one starter.
It was like 8 million. No, I don't think so. I thought it was like around 8 mil.
But see, I don't know. I don't know what quarterbacks
10
make.
million.
First round.
1 year, 10 million. 1 year, 10 million.
Okay.
So
good.
first round money for a quarterback, I don't know what the average is for that. I mean, if JJ's getting 20 million,
no.
I'm just saying, I don't know. What the salary
After
are.
being selected number 10 overall by the Minnesota Vikings, McCarthy will receive an estimated $21 million in total money.
Oh, okay. And that's going to be a 5-year deal because there's a 5th-year option. So 21 million, roughly 5 million a year.
Shit, yeah.
5 million. And then if you do pick up the 5th-year option, it's more money. It's going to be in the 20s.
And they defer that then too. That's why they get in the trouble. Essentially, you'll defer some of that until the 5th year.
I honestly don't know how that works with I just know everyone in the first round gets a 5th-year option.
Let's talk about some of the quarterbacks that got drafted, and we say yes or no they got drafted into a good situation. Start with the first one, Caleb Williams. 100% in my opinion, he got drafted into an amazing situation. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. I think got 2 Pro Bowls.
They just
in the
drafted a
offensive
freaking
line.
receiver too. They drafted that neighbor or whatever his name is.
That guy from Washington. Like they stacked up on the offensive side.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Okay.
I mean, even though I don't like them, I don't care for guys that go looking and putting fingernail polish on their nails, that stuff like that. I just keep that to myself. But I'm just not a big fan of him. He's a drama queen that started a lot of trouble in USC. I can see him having a bad year and then becoming one of those presents in the locker room that nobody wants to be around.
I just like my biggest thing against Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick compared to Jaden Daniels is like 2 years ago, great year, Heisman winner. But last year they weren't even ranked. And sure, you can't blame that fully on the quarterback, but the quarterback touches the ball almost every single play. Like they weren't even ranked. Spencer Rattler wasn't even ranked.
Dude, they had some bad games at USC the end of the season.
Yeah.
Ace, yes or no?
This is a perfect example. He reminds me of T.O., but as a quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
T.O.? Okay, gotcha. Hey, his son got drafted.
T.O. didn't come into it either right away, did he? He wasn't that way right away.
He was cocky with the 49ers.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I'm curious to see how Williams handles it day in and day out. Because it sounds like even with Fields, the media in Chicago is always supportive, it seemed like.
Well, that's like the Bears GM was on the Pat McAfee show, and he talked about the kind of process it goes through when selecting a quarterback, especially in the draft. He's like, listen, we ask hundreds of people about what they think about Caleb Williams. We're asking the trainers. We're asking the lunch ladies. We're asking the equipment manager. We're asking family friends. Like we're asking like people because we want to know who he is outside of football. We want to know who he is in football. It's not just like you look on paper, it's like, yeah, he's good. Like they did their homework, and maybe we're seeing something that
I think yes, he's going to a good spot.
Jaden Daniels.
If I'm Caleb Williams, I'm calling Lamar Jackson and saying, "Yo, you didn't have an agent, man. How hard was it to negotiate your contract?"
He's be like, "Hey, here's my mom. Here's my mom."
I think Jaden also is a good spot there.
I think Jaden's in a good spot.
I agree.
They still have Jahan Dotson. They still have Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
I think the running back could use a little more spice. Defensively, they have a good head coach now.
Is he day one starter? I think he has to be. When you're picked that high, you have to be. I don't think Dodson's starting there.
I want to say yes, especially because he was a Heisman winner too.
Is it Howell?
Yeah. Howell's still there.
Howell's still
there. So I mean, here's the thing though. Like new head coach. I mean, you're picking your quarterback. Sam Howell was there before you got there, but I think
is Howell still there?
Yeah, isn't he?
I don't think.
Thought so.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's there anymore.
Look it up, Ace. Sam Howell.
Well, if they don't,
If he's still there, do you let them battle it out at first and see how it looks?
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
you're going to end up paying him big money because I think JJ's getting 22 million. I think it goes up even higher when you're in the first 2 picks. I think you have to start him. I really do. If you're picking,
I like Jaden. I like Jaden.
Mariota. Yeah, Jeff Driscoll, Mariota.
Yeah, he's
Jake
gone.
Fromm, he is gone. Where did?
Oh, that's right. Didn't he get traded to the Seattle Seahawks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good signing.
Dude, that might be good for Seattle because Howell is not bad.
Dude, you got a new coach, new GM. I think you start the new quarterback right away.
Drake May. I'm going to say,
yeah,
I don't know. I think as far as like you having an opportunity to start, 100%. What's around you? I don't know.
Yep.
It's good for him.
With that.
It's good for
him. But like, if we talk about a system, like we talk about like the talent around you, like compare his situation to Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. You're like, who's he throwing the ball to? I mean, I know they drafted some guys.
The difference about the Bears is they made a smart trade last year. That's what got them back up to that pick again. They invested money into their team last year. These teams at second and third and fourth, these teams just suck. That's why they're drafting quarterbacks. Yep. They suck. Yep. So you're going to be in a bad situation for a couple of years with these teams. But the Bears GM played it right. They made those trades. They got those 2 first-round picks, and it worked out for DJ Moore.
Let's skip Penix and JJ because we talked about them a little bit. Bo Nix.
Awesome. Good for him there.
Good
got
coach.
A good system, good coach, good receiver.
He's starting day one. They love him.
They do. Sean Payton talked so high of him. Like when they when they talked about his private pro day and Sean Payton gets in the car, he's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. It could be him and the other 2. I don't think Drake May, so those 3 could start first. Jaden and Caleb. All 3 of them and Bo. All 3 of them could start week 1.
I think they all start. Absolutely.
I mean, I think
when we get down to JJ, that's where it gets a little dicey.
On even Penix.
So let's see. That's round 1. We didn't have a quarterback after that. We didn't have a quarterback drafted until round 5 after that. Spencer Rattler.
No, he won't start, but I think that's a good pick place for him.
Well, and financially, that's a steal for you guys.
Like we're talking about, did he get drafted into a good situation where
absolutely?
Yep.
Because Carr's gone after next year.
He's gonna compete. Who's our backup? Jake Haener, who's not even that good. But he went to the same college as Derek Carr, so they have like a little bit of the same mind. But you brought in Nathan Peterman, and they signed that Mond guy that was on the Browns and the Vikings. Yeah. I think Spencer Rattler's our backup this year, might be our starter next year.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. And it's a steal. You're not going to have to pay him first round money.
Because I remember Ross Jackson saying that after year 2, there is an out, I believe, with Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. There is. And you got 4 years. You have 4 years to figure it out with Spencer Rattler on the cheap.
On the cheap, yep. Let's see. Next quarterback taken. Round 6. Joe Milton, who gets drafted by the Patriots, who I'm going to say.
We don't need to do all these.
The last one we'll do. Last one I'll do. I'll say maybe. I think Drake May's going to play well, but if he doesn't, you got the rock.
Yeah, that's a weird situation too.
You drafted 2 quarterbacks in the same draft, which is crazy.
It's weird to see you draft a quarterback in the first round and then draft one in the later rounds too. Isn't
like I would have drafted Drake May and picked up maybe like a Tannehill for like the veterans minimum
or a Joe Flacco
instead of wasting 2 picks on a quarterback. Because what if you do? What if you go out there and Drake May looks horrible in camp and
Joe Milton shines and you paid all this money?
You're screwed.
I know. Yo, Drake May's an old school Southern kind of guy, man. When he walks around and talks, I'm like, yo, this guy's funny.
Yeah. I think all these quarterbacks that were drafted earlier are gonna get their shots earlier, sooner than later.
Listen, man, this is gonna be fun year. I can't wait.
Yo, Green Bay took a quarterback too.
Did they?
Yeah, they took a quarterback in the 7th round.
Oh, that ain't.
Who did they take?
Oh, yeah, who did they take?
I'm not sure who they took.
Was it the kid from Tulane?
It might have been. I'll look it up right now. So you can
the kid from Tulane was they thought the Saints were going to draft him, but Dennis Allen, they had dinner with Spencer Rattler and they liked him. And you know what? Last thing I'll say about Spencer Rattler that I like when he got drafted, it wasn't like couple tears. Obviously, you hug mom, a couple tears, but he just like sitting there shaking his head, like almost like Lamar when Lamar got drafted late, and Lamar was like, "I'm a Raven, let's fly." Like he didn't want to talk. He's like all business. Like when Spencer was sitting there, he's like, "Let's go, let's go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like let's get in the lab, let's cook, let's start building the chemistry. I'm ready." I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. You want, like, most organizations want a player like that where they seem like they want it. They seem competitive, I guess, probably is a good way to describe it.
They took Michael Pratt in the 7th round.
Michael Pratt. That's the guy from Tulane, isn't it?
I don't know. Michael Pratt in the 7th round. That was the surprise pick. That was crazy. That's the Green Bay way, though.
All right, Ace, let's talk about it. We got to talk about it before we end the podcast. Your Timberwolves, man. Are they going all the way this year?
They sweep the old ass Suns. The Suns looked old against us, which is
Ant
weird.
Duncan on them. Ant Duncan on KD.
Ant, he is electric, and he's at the point now where all 5 guys on defense are watching where he is. If he's at the top of the key, all their bodies are facing him.
Did A-Rod save that franchise?
I mean, they brought some juice. They brought in that, I don't know the GM's name, but they got him from Denver, I think. So we play Denver now in the 2nd round. We swept the Suns. Denver took the Lakers down in 5, I think.
Yeah, Lakers are down.
I think we match up very, very, very well. I shouldn't say we. I've only been a bandwagon fan for a few months.
Just say we. We're all part of the team.
But no. So Joker, we could have Karl Anthony on Joker, and Gobert guards frickin' the power forward. He doesn't shoot threes. So we can have Gobert sneak down, double team Jokic every once in a while. I like the matchup. And whoever comes out of this is going to the final. Yeah, we split our season series. I think whoever comes out of this is going to the final.
And you know what's crazy? The Lakers led over 140 plus minutes in that series against Denver. Denver only led like maybe 50 minutes total in that series.
Oh yeah,
the Lakers took it to them. I mean, the Lakers blew 2 leads over 20-point lead.
Yeah, LeBron even coming back, who knows?
And the Timberwolves they were way more aggressive than they were in the regular season, at least in terms of playing the Suns, because they got swept by the Suns in the regular season, and this was completely different. Swept them in the first game, and we just blew them out in the first game and just kind of put it to them the rest of the series. Really, it was dominant.
Minnesota will be in the finals against Oklahoma.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I love how Oklahoma's young, bro, and they're good.
I have Oklahoma going all the way.
We all need some good juju to hit us, and Minnesota just needs some good juju right now.
I have in my bracket, I have Oklahoma playing Indiana in the finals. Milwaukee's going home tonight. They're trailing by 12.
My college brothers are gonna hate that. I want go Bucks, but it's not looking good.
They don't have Giannis, the Boko, whatever his name is. He's not playing tonight. So,
you guys think the Sixers come back?
No, Sixers are done.
I don't.
If the Sixers would have won Game 4, yes, at home, they would have won. This series would be over. They would be up 3-2. It'd be over. But I just think they don't even play Buddy Hield. I mean, why did you trade for him if you don't even play him? Yeah, he didn't play the last game.
Well,
they said Maxey would technically, like when they watched the replay after the game, they're like, technically that tying game was a travel.
Clippers.
I know.
I think the Clippers can come back.
Like, there's so much traveling. There's so much traveling in the NBA.
Yes,
I picked the Clippers, man. I picked the Clippers to win it all. Not win it all, win that division. I hate Dallas.
If you got 75% of frickin' Kawhi, that might be different, but I have no idea what you're going to get from him every game.
Yeah. Paul George looked horrible. I think he had like
they're getting old, man.
Points in the first.
They were in their prime when I was in high school. It's like
I hate Embiid's getting up there too now with some of the
still playing at a high level.
His problem is he has his knee issues are going to make him retire early.
Well, man, when you're that tall and you're hitting the ground,
stop flopping. Stop
just
throwing
like that
yourself to the
inspector I
ground.
told you about. Just
he can't stay up all game.
Yeah, I think the Sixers go home tonight. And unfortunately, the last time they played in Philadelphia, they had more Knicks fans there than they did freaking Sixers fans. So the GM and the owner of the Sixers gave out basically free tickets tonight to
the Knicks like stormed the stadium afterwards.
Yeah, they gave them first responders free tickets to try to fill up the seats.
You gotta do it, man. Are they home tonight?
Yeah, I don't like how the Sixers play Embiid. I don't know why you have a guy who can dominate down low at the top of the key every play.
Yeah.
You have no one down to rebounding, so it's one shot done. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate about this newer game, where it's like those guys stretch out, nobody's underneath, so you don't really get there's way too much up and down basketball scoring.
Yeah, give me your Mutombo style basketball, your Olajuwon, your David Robinson. Yeah, pack down low, one move, you average 35 points a game, 15 rebounds. It's just, I hate this shit. And I hate the officials blowing the whistles on everything and then going over and reviewing everything.
Yeah.
It's just, whatever.
You know what I love, man? We're not going to talk about it, but I love the officiating in hockey. I saw a video today where it was a home game.
Yeah, hockey.
And the ref comes out and he literally goes to the home crowd. You're not going to like it, but the goal stands. I love it, man.
They're much more real.
They are.
So much more real.
I love it.
See, I can't watch regular hockey in the regular season, but I can watch hockey in the playoffs. Basketball, I can watch it to a point, but I love watching basketball in the playoffs. Same with baseball. Baseball is a boring.
You don't like
game.
watching hockey playoffs?
No, I'm saying I love it. I can't watch the regular season.
I like it.
Even
It's
baseball.
amazing.
Baseball to me, I coached it 20 years. It drives me nuts. It's a boring ass game. I love the playoffs though. Come October, man, I'll watch every game possible.
That's as I'm getting older, man. It's like I haven't watched a lot of Yankees games. I don't know what it is. I love the sport, but it's like I've been watching so much hockey.
You just don't want to spend that time.
God,
because there's not that many entertaining moments like there is in hockey or other.
I'm trying to go, man. Round 2, but Boston versus the Florida Panthers, man. I was supposed to go to
Boston
to game
needs to win.
I was gonna go to game 5 where the Panthers won to go to the next round, man.
Dude, I don't have the drive. Like I remember I used to
Ty.
battle with Eagles fans all the time. I had a conversation with one on X the other night and said, it is what it is. The Cowboys are what they are. I don't have the energy to fight for them anymore. I
can't control it, man. At the end of the day, as much as I'm part of the team, I didn't lose.
I'm used to the misery. I'm used to the misery.
Yeah,
haven't been in playoffs in 3 years. All right, y'all got anything else you want to talk about?
Twins are I'll just say Twins are on a winning streak, but honestly, low expectations till Baldelli's fired.
But the thing that drives me nuts about the Yankees is they put up over 30 runs in 2 games against the best team in the National League, and then we go and play the Baltimore Orioles and we can't score.
We won last night though, 2-0.
We lost.
Got destroyed today though.
We lost the series. This is our second series we lost this year.
They're finding themselves out there.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough for me to find them on TV, and that's by choice.
Well, we hope you all have enjoyed this podcast. Enjoy the weekend. Friday's tomorrow. We're gonna relax. I'll enjoy it.
It's gonna be almost 80 here.
Go to the zoo.
Love it. It's getting hot here. But we appreciate the support. Love y'all, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.